Here are some tips to get more out of your leg curls. Many people end up in a seated leg curl where at the top of the movement, like here, the weight deloads. Now, if you can press this further down or you can move this further up because this is an awesome machine, you can do that, that's great. But in many leg curl machines, that is not possible. So how do you get tension in the lengthened position? Because some research finds that at long muscle lengths, you get more muscle growth. And specifically, research has also found that seated leg curls grow the hamstrings more than lying leg curls. And it's specifically the heads of the hamstrings that cross the hip because they are in a greater stretch. Now you can mimic that stretch by moving the backrest forward. Now you see that there is tension in the top position because by flexing the hip, you stretch the hamstrings and you'll find that you'll get a much better stretch at a given position of the seated leg curl. So you get a much better stretch at the top position and you maintain high tension there. Even if you don't put any stock in the stretch-mediated hypertrophy or the lengthened bias literature, and you're just looking for a better pump, you also get consistent muscle tension this way, so you also get a better pump. Tip number 2, keep your ankles in dorsiflexion. So many people keep their ankles intuitively kind of neutral, or even they point them forward like this. And this takes out the gastrocnemius of the calves, which is the meaty part of the calves that most people want to train. If you keep the ankles in dorsiflexion, like this, keep your toes curled up, you are stronger. Research has found that you get better strength gains, you get higher muscle activity in the calves, and that translates into greater muscle growth in the calves. It does not affect muscle hypertrophy of the hamstrings, so you basically get free extra calf gains, and you're stronger when you keep the ankles in dorsiflexion than when you point them straight out. The same tip with your ankles applies to lying leg curls, and also the same tip applies with getting tension in the lengthened position. For many people, in a bottom position, the weights are touching each other, which means there's no tension on the hamstrings. What you can do in this case, if you have a foam pad or something, you can put that under the quads, under your thighs, and now you see that the weights are no longer touching each other. There is active tension on the hamstrings in the bottom position, which should make the exercise more effective. Final tip for leg curls is to keep your head draped down and think of your whole body being draped over the machine. What I see in a lot of people is they do kind of the cat in heat and they move their butt towards the weight instead of moving the weight towards their butt. And then they get lower back pain. The fix for many people is to really isolate the knee movement and do a pure leg curl without any movement at the hip, is to drape their body over the machine, look way down, and then you find that automatically you'll isolate the hamstrings and the calves from the rest of the body. And for many people, this eliminates back pain. All right, I hope that helps.